And welcome into War Squared Fantasy Football Podcast. I'm Tom. This is Doc. Doc, what's going on this week?
Well, contract extensions, big trades, and lots of rumors about even bigger trades being made coming up.
For sure.
And then the draft is 3 weeks away.
3 weeks. 3 weeks from tomorrow. 3 weeks from, it'd be April, 28th?
8th, 28th, 29th, and 30th, if I remember correctly. They're going to be doing the draft. It's going to be a very interesting time to see what quarterbacks get picked where and what they do to be team building type stuff.
Sure.
So let's go in this first of all. There was a couple of trades that took place. For example, New Orleans now has 2 first-round draft picks. Philadelphia has 2 this year, 2 next year. And they picked up a lot of extra stuff to go along in doing that trade.
For sure. So basically, the Saints trade the 18th pick, the 101st pick, the 237th pick, next year's 1, and 2024's 2 second-round pick to the Eagles for 16, which was the Eagles' second pick in the draft, and the 19, which is the one right behind the Saints, and the 194th, which is like a 5th round or something like that.
Something about that.
If that
Sixth
doesn't
rounder.
say Doc trade all over it, I don't know what does.
Oh,
That's
it's crazy.
BS crap trade.
So the speculation
What?
is the Saints are doing it to try to get into the top 10 for one of the quarterbacks.
Well, the quarterbacks, I heard it was one of the receivers they were going after because they signed Jameis to a 2-year contract, paying him well. Jameis last year before he got hurt was a very, very good NFL quarterback.
5-2.
How many interceptions did he throw during that time?
was that 5
not very
interceptions
much.
to 2 touchdowns? Or
That's pretty close. It actually is pretty close.
Yep. He was actually a very good NFL quarterback until he blew his knee out. So I don't think quarterbacks what they're going after. They need skill positions. They were going after one of the wide receivers. What I heard was they want Treylon Burks, if I pronounced that correctly, from Arkansas.
Treylon.
Or the guy the wide receiver from Alabama who blew his knee out is what they're looking for now.
Or both. I mean,
Yeah.
the other thing that we don't know is we don't know Michael Thomas's status. You know,
nobody knows.
He hasn't played now in almost 2 years.
Exactly.
So we don't know what he's going to be like. They definitely need upgrades at wide receiver. I think my first thought was they're going to stay pat. They're not going to trade because they think that whoever a quarterback is, it doesn't matter. I mean, they can bring
In that
somebody
system,
in.
They could put an average quarterback.
Just
in
a
that system.
journeyman. It
Yes.
doesn't matter. I mean,
Andy Dalton, who they signed.
They signed Andy Dalton. I think that they think that they'll get it there. Now, I can see them also saying, okay, Malik Willis is the guy that could be going forward. Now, Malik Willis from around Atlanta. The speculation is that he won't get past the Falcons. I already said last week he's definitely not getting past the Commodes at 11 if he makes it there. I don't think they want Pickett. I think Pickett's going to go to Carolina at 6 because he was recruited to Rutgers by Matt Rule, and as soon as Matt Rule left there to go to Baylor, he went to Pitt. And then I think that the Saints are still going to be a 10-win team because their defense is that good. I mean, Jameis was on pace through 7 games. That put him, 11-6?
Something like that.
If he played the whole season. So I think they're a lock to win 10 games. I think
Especially in
they're a
that division.
lock to win, to get in the playoffs again.
Well, they're a lot to go 4-2 in that division, at worst.
Yes, because they own the Bucks.
Yeah, more than likely they're going to get
4-0 while Tom Brady.
Yeah,
Tom
I
Brady's
had them
in there.
losing twice to the Bucks. They're going to beat the Panthers twice. They're going to beat the Falcons twice. The worst they can do in that league is 4-2. More than likely 5-1. With the record
They'll
going on
lose
6-0.
once to Atlanta. It's weird.
Yeah. Well, why does Tennessee always have problems with Jacksonville? Sometimes teams just have other teams' numbers. Why is it Indianapolis can't beat Jacksonville? Sometimes it just teams have teams'
That's the way
numbers.
it is, right?
And so at worst they're going to go 4-2 in conference.
Yeah. So, and I think next year they believe they won't be in play for one of the top QBs. They'll all probably go top 10 because there's 5 good ones supposed to be coming out next year.
We'll see.
So I think that could be a reason that they go, okay, we're going to trade up to 5 or to 7
One of the
to
things
get our
that we
guy.
keep forgetting about, what happened on Super Bowl Sunday? Alvin Kamara got arrested.
No, that wasn't Super Bowl Sunday. That was the week before
I'm sorry, it was All-Pro Sunday.
during the Pro Bowl.
Alvin Kamara got arrested, and those charges are still out there and pending against him how long is he going to be suspended for a season, or will he be in prison at that point in time? Based upon the film I saw, looked pretty.
It's
Looked pretty
hard to say.
devastating.
I think that's certainly something to consider also.
And
What
so-
was the charges? Was it domestic violence?
Oh no,
No,
it
oh,
was
no.
in a
I forgot.
casino. Basically, Kamara sucker punched and kicked a guy on the ground while his entourage beat him
Oh,
beat him
yeah,
down.
Yeah, I remember that.
It was ugly.
I honestly forgot. That's why I asked.
It was coyote ugly. And we keep forgetting about Alvin Kamara still facing those felony charges out there in Vegas. And Vegas right now ain't playing. They're
No,
pushing people.
they don't have to.
They're putting people in jail for a long time. And so Kamara could possibly be in jail, probation, or suspended, or all of the above.
Yeah, my guess is it's he won't be in jail during the season, but he will get a suspension once it's resolved either way. Now, I don't know if it'll get resolved before this season, so he may play this season with no repercussions.
Yeah, we'll see, because charges are pending rather than anything else. He has been arrested. He has been charged.
Yeah.
In the past, when that's happened,
And he was arrested
people-
after the Pro Bowl.
yeah,
It happened the day before
the Pro Bowl.
the Pro Bowl.
They were going to arrest him as he was going into the field, and for some reason he made it by and was able to play the Pro Bowl that day.
They didn't get down to the field before he could get onto the field.
Yeah, something happened where they weren't able to get him. They were looking for him.
They were in process,
And
but
so
but missed
maybe
it.
New Orleans
Went
is
to the
gonna,
long-
maybe New
long
Orleans is
locker
going to do
room.
something with those picks, that, anticipating Kamara being not on the roster this year. But
I
who
don't,
knows?
they won't draft a running back. Not there.
So what other trades took place this week?
Well, I mean, really, the other key thing about the draft that I want to make sure everybody out there knows is that we have 8 teams with 2 picks. That also means we have 8 teams without a pick
Correct.
in the first round.
Correct.
So the Texans, the Jets, the Giants, the Eagles, the Saints, the Packers, the Chiefs, and the Lions.
Who would ever thought the Lions would be picking the last in the NFL draft? Oh, that's the Rams pick, not theirs. I'm sorry, I got confused.
Whoops.
Speaking of, have you seen that new AT&T commercial with Matt Stafford in it?
Oh, yeah.
Where you've had your phone for 12 years and
Pretty good commercial.
so hilarious.
If people recognize who he is, it's a pretty good commercial.
Yeah, people that don't watch the NFL have no clue. But
So the other big trade that happened, the Pats traded a 2023 third to the Dolphins for Devontae Parker and a 2023 fifth. The Dolphins had to get rid of a wide receiver.
They had no choice but to, because Parker was the obvious one that was going to be out of the loop at that
yeah,
point in
you're not
time.
going to get rid of Waddle. You're not going to get rid of Tyreek.
Yeah,
No.
Waddle's on his rookie contract. They signed Tyreek to the monster deal. They signed Cedric Wilson early in free agency
To a
away from the
huge deal.
Cowboys.
Yeah.
Speaking of the Cowboys, they were one of the other teams that were interested in Parker. The Cowboys, the Texans, the Falcons, and the Packers were all the teams that were interested. None of them were willing to pull the trigger. Probably none of them wanted to give up a third.
In 2023.
Dallas hasn't done anything positive this offseason.
They are terrible.
Dallas is still hamstrung because they overpaid Ezekiel Elliott in his contract.
And Dak.
They definitely overpaid Dak.
No way.
Yes.
$35 million a year?
The black Kirk Cousins.
That's top 10 quarterback money.
The only other thing too that we'll say about this is the Patriots got a receiver who bedeviled them. I mean,
yeah.
he would eat the Patriots up.
He had 2 games a year. You started Devontae Parker 2 games Devontae Parker 2 games a year, no matter what it was.
Both the Patriots games.
because for some reason those are the 2 games he became Superman.
You know, it's weird. There was another wide receiver that Miami had back in the early 2000s that bedeviled the Patriots. What was his name?
Julian Edelman?
Wes Welker.
Wes Welker. Okay. Didn't go back far enough, did I?
Not quite. He was Wes Welker Jr.
Okay.
Julian Edelman was.
And news that happened in Tampa Bay. They have a new coach. Bruce Arians is out. Todd Boyles is in.
Bowles.
Bowles, I'm sorry.
Bowles,
You know me in
Bowles.
names. Not necessarily a good thing. Brady returned and Arians got promoted. Wonder
Yeah.
why.
Strange. Weird.
Kind of funky, isn't it?
Kind of strange, isn't it? Yeah.
Especially with the big rumors going around all last week where Tom Brady's going to be traded to the Miami Dolphins.
Now, more has come out on that. What's come out on that is that they had a deal in place where Sean Payton was going to go to the Dolphins as the new coach to replace Brian Flores. And Brady was going to come in, and actually there was some way he was going to get ownership as compensation.
Brady was?
Yes.
Wow.
He was going to get a stake in ownership.
Would have been a pretty good deal for Tom and Sean.
Absolutely.
I would have hated to see the compensation that they would have had to pay to New Orleans to get Sean Payton.
Well, New Orleans wouldn't even talk to him. They called him and they said, hey, what's it going to take to get Peyton? Not available. This was pre his retirement, but they approached it and said, what's it going to take? Are we talking a first? Are we talking 2 firsts? They were like, not happening.
And then being able to acquire Tom Brady at the same point in time from the Tampa Bay Bucks would have cost him at least another first.
Maybe.
Yeah, because Tom could have just said, I'm going to retire.
Yeah.
So
I mean, and I think that's part of why he said, I'm going to retire. And then the Bucks were like, well, we're going to really hold firm on this. You know, you really are technically signed to this contract. Although the only money Tom Brady has coming in from the Bucks this year is like a roster bonus or some crazy crap like that. Mm-hmm. I mean, he's not even on the books really for a salary. It's the leftover signing bonus.
Okay, so let's ask a question. If Tom Brady was in if Tom Brady was in Miami, what would his fantasy rating be? Would he be a top 5 quarterback?
Number
at
2.
That point in time? Number 2 behind
Josh Allen.
Okay.
Even after the signing of Tyreek.
Okay.
I'm just trying to figure out how Tom Brady's going to make his bills with just the signing bonus. Oh wait, Giselle makes like $40 million a year still.
Yeah.
He still gets paid well on his
He's fine.
endorsements.
I'm not worried
I'm
about
pretty sure he'll make that without having to cut back very much.
Okay, I just want to be sure that he's taken care of.
I think he'll be okay. So one of the things that was brought up today is who's available April 6th of 2023.
Sean Payton?
Tom Brady. Coincidentally enough,
3.
9 days before the Dolphins have to decide whether or not they're going to pick up Tua's 5th-year option.
So you're saying there's a chance Brady's going to be in Miami to 2023 for the next football season?
I'm saying there's a chance.
Okay.
Like 1 in 100, or like 1
We'll
in a
see.
million.
We'll see. So in other news, Brandon Cooks from the Texans, they suck. Where's he going to get traded to?
Well, now here's other places that have interest. The Browns have interest, but why didn't they get him tucked into the Deshaun deal?
That's a good question, isn't it? Because Brandon Cooks is worth more than a
Because
throw-in
Deshaun
draft
was too
choice.
busy breaking it off on that fully guaranteed contract.
I guess so. I mean, now, okay, so Brandon Cooks always gets traded.
Yes,
Okay, he's
Brandon
been traded 4 times.
Yes.
Here are the players that were drafted with the picks from Brandon Cooks. Ryan Ramczyk, all-pro guard for the Saints. Trey Hendrickson has 3 straight seasons of double-digit sacks, 2 with the Saints, 1 with the Bengals. Isaiah Wynn, starting, I think he's a left tackle with the
tackle.
Patriots. Van Jefferson,
Wide receiver.
part-time third receiver, starting wide receiver for the Rams. So, I mean, whoever's going to give up draft compensation, whoever gets drafted with that pick is going to be a stud.
More than likely, yes. If the legacy continues, yes. So where's he going to go?
I mean, if I'm Green Bay,
You got to make a call.
I got to make that call.
You got to make a call and find out. Now, wasn't Brandon Cooks also the guy who said, I'm going to determine where I go next time. I'm not going to be traded again, so I'm going to turn it down.
Maybe. If you told me, Brandon, you can play with Davis Mills or Aaron Rodgers, I guess I'm going to Green Bay.
Green Bay, here we come.
I mean,
Can I get a cold bonus for being there? Nope, can't. Okay. Speaking of trades, who's going to get DK? Rumor
Okay.
is he's gone.
He
well,
ain't going to Kansas City. He shut that shit down.
they're shutting down a bunch of stuff.
Yes.
Now, the Seattle came out and said, we're not interested in trading DK.
Sure.
They also said the same thing about Russell Wilson.
Yes.
And 7 days later or 9 days later, he was traded to the
Russ was in
Broncos.
Denver. Yep.
So the Jets have allegedly offered the number 10 pick, and Seattle said, no, we're not interested. To which I say,
Seattle, you dumb.
what the F?
Seattle, you stupid. Because we'll cover more of this when we get back from the breaks.
Keep the pest at bay, call TNT and we'll blow them away. For a pest-free home or business, you need the best. You need TNT, prompt and professional pest control with custom plans tailored just for you. Call TNT Pest Control at 209-9225.
Being a car accident is one of the most overwhelming and terrifying experiences that you can have. You must then deal with the physical and emotional trauma caused by the accident. Spinal ligament injury is the number one leading cause of pain and disability following a car accident. If you or a loved one have had a car accident, there's a high likelihood that you've suffered spinal ligament injury. Here at Titan Medical Center, we specialize in detection, diagnosis, and treatment of car accidents. Call us today.
And keep the pest at bay, call TNT and we'll blow them away. For a pest-free home or business, you need the best. You need TNT, prompt and professional pest control with custom plans tailored just for you. Call TNT Pest Control at 209-9225.
All right, so we jump back in here, and we're talking now really about DK Metcalf and those receivers, A.J. Brown, who went to the same school as DK Metcalf,
In the same draft, both of them drafted in the second round.
and what they should be looking for in their next contract, because we were talking pre-show about Christian Kirk and his $19.6 or $19.3 million per year salary.
His
set
4-year,
the wide
$80.4 million
receiver-
contract, which made the salaries for the wide receivers absolutely go through the roof.
Right. And so Devontae got paid and had the biggest record. Then
Tyreek
Tyreek
got
got paid and has the biggest record. Then they just redid Stephon Diggs.
4-year, $104 million, $26 million average per year for a wide receiver who is talented, but oh my gosh.
Number 8 in yardage at the wide receiver position last year.
In him going to Buffalo, gave Josh Allen a legitimate number one wide receiver.
Oh, and they're
made Josh
thick
Allen
as
mature.
thieves.
Yeah.
I mean, they are like literally best friends.
Yeah, and the good thing about that was it was a trade that both sides won because Justin Jefferson was the wide receiver that Minnesota drafted. So we're talking about that. We're talking about the value of DK Metcalf. And Seattle supposedly got an offer from the Jets, offer number 10 for DK Metcalf. You and I would both punch the button and say, take it, gotta go right now.
Right. I mean, okay, so counter. If you're the Seahawks, I counter, because the Jets have like 35 and 38.
Yeah.
2 high picks in the second round.
Give me number 10 and number
Give me
38.
one of them.
Give me 10, 38, I'll give you DK. Because you're saving $28 million on the salary cap starting next year. Because this is the 4th year of the contract, which means they got the second round draft picks. They don't have the 5th year option. And so, but fantasy wise, if DK goes from Seattle with Drew Lock, where he drops in value, to New York, where he has Zach Wilson as quarterback, does his value go up or does it stay the same?
Oh, way up.
Okay.
Way up. Because he's got Corey Davis on the other side.
Yes.
And Elijah Moore in the slot.
Correct.
And Michael Carter running the ball.
Correct.
They're a much better team. I mean, I still don't think the Jets get in the playoffs.
I think they go 8-9 at best.
I would say that's a great call on your part, which is really weird to say, but I think that's exactly what. And then DK would have to
broken
get
clock
paid.
is right twice a day.
Now I think
the one that's sitting in that chair.
I think that DK wants to be the new highest paid.
Oh, he wants to be the highest paid wide receiver
because he's so young.
Well, not only that, but he also, of all the wide receivers out there, he's the one who has the most. When you say wide receiver, who comes to your mind? If you're the average NFL fan, DK, because of what he ran the guy down 2 years ago.
I'd probably say Tyreek.
Yep, Tyreek.
No, be honest. Who would you say? Who would you say, Tommy Boy?
Well, I would say Devontae.
There you go.
Yeah. Well, if you think about it, there's
I love me
you
some
think
Devontae.
I can't play the song "Who Will Get DC."
you like
Yes, I
you
know.
hear of Devontae, you hear of Hill, and you hear of Metcalf. Those are the three names that you hear when it comes to that. Cooper Kupp's in the conversation, but he's down the list upon the average names people think of for the average NFL fan.
Right. And so, to your point, DK is going to want to get paid.
Yeah.
Cooper Kupp's going to have to get paid because he just set all the records
Correct.
for
If
receiving.
anybody deserves $30 million a year at this point in time, it's got to be Cooper Kupp.
A.J. Brown
Is going to get paid.
is going to get paid. You said you'd seen something where the Jets are offering.
Number 10 and a next year's first for A.J. Brown's what's on the rumor board for the Tennessee.
I'm telling you what, if either Tennessee or Seattle gets that deal, you smash the accept button. Especially Tennessee, you're going to give me another first next year where I'm probably looking at replacing Ryan Tannehill with one of the young studs that's coming out.
Correct. I agree with you 100%. But J-Rob, the general manager for Tennessee, came out real quickly and said, "Oh no, we're going to sign him to an extension. He will be a Titan for many more years to come."
I mean, he is a
But that's what he's got to say.
he's a good player. He's not worth more than any of the guys we've already mentioned.
See, I think he probably should get a contract somewhere around what Stephon Diggs has got at this point in time. 4-year, $104 million contract.
When you're on the field with the production that Stephon Diggs, Devontae Adams, Cooper Kupp, or Tyreek has, I agree. You can get that contract. That's not A.J. Brown.
A.J. Brown puts that out there when he's healthy. This year he wasn't healthy, but when he was healthy, he was an incredibly impactful player for Tennessee at wide receiver.
I would go ahead and argue that he was 3 times as valuable last year, not 2021, but 2020, than he was in 2021.
You think so?
Yes.
Well, one of the things you sent an email out today talking about impactful players.
I sent
a text message.
Yes,
I'm sorry.
I
It
sent
had
everybody.
Pro Football rankings on it for dynasty players.
I did.
So if we look at the wide receivers here, the number 3 wide receiver in dynasty rankings from Pro Football rankings is A.J. Brown.
Hold on, let me get down to wide receivers. The number 4.
I have him number 3 when I went up to the website and I transferred it across.
You missed Jamar Chase, Justin Jefferson, and C.D. Lamb.
Nope. The one I have is one I looked at and printed off and copied it was Jefferson, Chase, Brown, Kupp, and then Lamb. Lamb was number 5.
No, you're looking at the wrong one.
No, I'm not. Go to the website, punch it up there, you'll find it.
I'm looking at it from the article I shared with you.
I went to the website itself, not the article, and downloaded the dynasty rankings from there. Because in the article you sent to me, remember last week there was a certain running back I had ranked in the top 10?
Yes,
And
it
you
was
gave me
Brees
crap
Hall.
about it?
I did.
Yeah, and Brees Hall's number what rank?
He's
running
the
back
number
here?
10 running back on this list.
Wow. Wonder where they stole that from.
Probably you.
More than likely would be my guess.
Highly unlikely. What I love more than anything is who is Brees Hall ranked right above?
Nick Chubb.
Yes, you're Nick Chubb. Nick Chubb sucks balls.
No, actually he doesn't. He's the number 11th ranked running back.
He
at this
is
point in time.
terrible.
Don't be rude.
Don't be weird.
But you'd trade for Nick Chubb, wouldn't you?
Well, I wouldn't give up any of the studs I've got. Hey, who's the number 1 and the number 2 ranked
Jonathan
running back?
Taylor's number 1.
Yeah.
Number 2 is, according to what the thing you sent out was Javonte Williams.
God dang. Yeah, that's hey, who has both those guys in the Dynasty League? 2
You do.
thumbs pointing at this guy.
Okay, now let's go to the wide receivers. Who's got the number 1 and 2? Who's got the number 2 and 3 wide receivers?
Your mom.
This guy, Jamar Chase and
No.
A.J. Brown.
No, because the number 2 is Justin Jefferson and number 3 is C.D. Lamb. Who has the number 3?
Who's number 1?
Jamar Chase.
Okay, who's got number 1? This guy.
Yes.
Where's your guys at?
I don't know. I didn't get in on the Jamar Chase bandwagon. I could have put together a better offer than that crap one you gave to Ross.
Yeah, that's true.
Hey,
I don't know. Where's Cooper Kupp rank at that?
Cooper Kupp's ranked number 4.
Number 5 on my.
The
on
one I put
one
together
I'm
off
looking
their
at.
website has him at number 4. CeeDee Lamb at number 5. Jamar Adams at number...
You cannot rank Cooper Kupp above C.D. Lamb in a dynasty. You cannot. C.D. Lamb is 22. Cooper Kupp is 28.
Where's
saying-
where's Debo?
Debo Samuels is number 4, 5, 6, 7.
Okay,
He's
so I got,
10 on
I got
this.
number 4 and 7. I'll take it.
Yeah. Not bad. Number 1 tight end is Kyle Pitts. I wonder who's got him. Oh, yeah, that's this guy.
Yeah.
Where's Mark Andrews?
Who's
Number
throwing
2.
to him?
Oh, that sucks.
That's the good question right now is Marcus Mariota. So,
Where's he on the list?
Marcus Mariota on the list at quarterback. He didn't make the top. I don't know how many's here, but they didn't make the top 3. I went through.
He is after Mitchell Trubisky, Jimmy Grapp.
Okay, on the website they actually broke the quarterbacks. They broke them down into tier 1, tier 2, tier 3, tier 4, tier 5, tier 6 players.
He is even ranked behind Baker.
Where you're going to be at that point in time. The number 1 tier ranked. This is fantasy rankings for dynasty leagues like what we're in with everybody else. The number 1 quarterback was Josh Allen. Number 2 was Pat Mahomes. Number 3 was Herbert. They're the ones that you draft. They're the ones who will be the stars for your roster at this point in time going forward. Tier 2 was Burrow, Jackson, Murray, Watson, and Prescott. Tier 3 was Russell Wilson, Trey Lance, Fields, Lawrence, Stafford, Hurts, Rodgers, and Tua. Tua is ranked above Carr.
Who's Rodgers going to throw to?
You know, Rodgers.
Aaron Jones.
Rodgers has been thrown to basically a whole bunch of no names most of his career anyway. He's always had a number 1. Let me finish.
Okay.
He's always had number 1, but everybody else has been a mix and match of names at that point in time.
That Devontae Adams sucks.
He is. He's terrible.
No, you didn't listen, did you? He's always had number 1 receiver in Devontae Adams or Jordy Nelson or somebody else. But everybody else has been kind of a mix and match. There hasn't been there hasn't been 2 outstanding wide receivers in Green Bay at the same time for him.
I don't know. There were a couple of years there where Jordy was the 1, Cobb was the 2, Devontae was the 3, and then Devontae came up to the 2. Cobb kind of slid back to the 3.
But there's gonna be
their Super Bowl win. Greg Jennings was the number 1. Jordy was the number 2.
As a young player growing, yes. He's going to have they're going to provide him with enough targets enough people going forward. And they're going to put people out there. He's going to have a statistical number 1, a statistical number 2 wide receiver this year. Who they are, we're not sure.
Well,
or he's going to have 3 number 2s rather than a number 1, number 2, and a number 3. He's going to have either the traditional wide receiver 1 develop, a wide receiver 2 develop, and a wide receiver 3 develop. Or he's going to have 3 wide receiver 2s.
yeah, they're gonna have somebody, and it might be a Jarvis Landry, it might be a Brandon Cooks,
who's still a free agent.
Yeah, there's a veteran wide receiver that's going to end up in Green Bay
As a wide receiver 1.
as a probably the 2.
Yeah. But statistically, he might be the number 1 going forward.
Lazard, I think, goes into the Devontae role.
Okay. If he does, then he'll be the wide receiver 1, and whoever the wide receiver 2 will develop, and 3 will be there. They've always managed to develop these players for Aaron Rodgers, or Aaron Rodgers has been able to develop chemistry with these people and make them into that position, one of the 2. You know, Aaron Rodgers gets a lot of guff, a lot of trash from people saying he hasn't had anybody to throw to, that type of stuff. But he has. He's had good wide receivers there. They might not be named wide receivers. He's always had good wide receivers with depth there. Marcus Valdes-Scantling, who got paid by Kansas City. Yeah, but he's not good. He got paid by Kansas City.
I know, but he's not good.
Kansas City seems to know something about wide receivers.
Oh, that's just all they can afford.
I still don't understand the Marquez Valdes-Scantling signing.
I don't understand a lot of the wide receiver signings.
Because if you can catch the ball, Pat's going to put it in his hands. He's going to make him look 10 times better.
And Aaron Rodgers does the exact same thing. Tom Brady did the exact same thing in New England for a long time without really having a true number 1 wide receiver, except for Randy Moss in his career.
I don't disagree. It's the opposite of the two.
And Tom Brady put up great numbers and got rings from it. Aaron Rodgers should be able to do the exact same thing.
Yeah, these guys like MVS and all them should have a better fantasy ranking with Pat Mahomes at the helm because of people like Travis Kelce and everybody around him. Mm-hmm. But eventually...
Well, you can't key on him anymore. I mean, before, what did you do? You had to key on Tyreek and you had to key on Travis Kelce. Now, what are you going to do now?
You got to play everybody straight up.
Yes, you got to play him straight up. And
you can't put 2 safeties over the top to stop Tyreek and then a linebacker in a cornerback shadowing Kelce.
Right. So MVS can string everybody out deep. Juju can slide underneath, and then you go back to the magical disappearing tight end.
It's going to be interesting. We're going to talk more about this coming up as we talk about future, because the draft is 3 weeks away.
3 weeks.
We're going to talk more about team needs. We're going to talk about the people out there. We're going to talk more about the pro football rankings that are there. And we're going to discuss more about that as we come back from the break.
We'll be back shortly.
Keep the pest at bay. Call TNT and we'll blow them away. For a pest-free home or business, you need the best. You need
We're gonna move the
TNT,
weird
prompt and professional pest control with custom plans tailored just for you. Call TNT Pest Control at 209-9225.
Being in a car accident is one of the most overwhelming and terrifying experiences that you can have. You must then deal with the physical and emotional trauma caused by the accident. Spinal ligament injury is the #1 leading cause of pain and disability following a car accident. If you or a loved one have had a car accident, there's a high likelihood that you've suffered spinal ligaments injury. Here at Titan Medical Center, we specialize in detection, diagnosis, and treatment of car accidents. Call us today.
And keep the pest at bay, call TNT and we'll blow them away. For a pest-free home or business, you need the best. You need TNT, prompt and professional pest control with custom plans tailored just for you. Call TNT Pest Control at 209-9225.
All right, so we jump back in, and we're still talking about kind of where rankings are, where teams are at, what they're kind of thinking. One thing that I really thought about going down the list of the draft teams here, we could kind of go down the list, look at these teams, and say, where do we think these teams are fantasy-wise, kind of improving? Have they improved over last year? Have they stepped back?
Okay, let's go through the list. #1 pick in the team has the first pick in the draft perpetually, I think.
Jaguars,
Jaguars have definitely improved themselves fantasy-wise.
for sure.
Travis Etienne comes back. He's healthy. Travis Etienne's going to be a wide receiver running back, kind of like in the Cordero Patterson mix, except better, I think, because he's faster.
He's faster, not close to as big.
But it doesn't have to be. Cordero Patterson, according to Pro Football Rankings, was at best a tier 4 running back and a tier 5 wide receiver.
Right.
So Cordero Patterson gets absolutely no love from Pro Football Rankings whatsoever.
No, he doesn't do anything great. All he did last year was score because he was the only player that could.
Exactly. Jaguars definitely improved themselves. Trevor Lawrence should make the next step in the quarterback and to become a franchise caliber NFL quarterback.
Okay. Lions.
Oh, they've definitely improved themselves.
Yeah.
No doubt about it. They've got some skill players to put around Jeff Goff. Jared.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of what they did, I think, is just re-sign the guys who were successful last year. So they re-signed Josh Reynolds, who came in and did well. You know, he had a relationship from the Rams with Jeff. I think Swift is going to be better this year. I can't wait to see Amon-Ra St. Brown.
You and I have different opinions of Swift. I think Swift is not nearly as good of a fantasy running back as what you and other people in the league think he is. I think he's at best a RB2.
Oh my gosh, you're insane. This is why I'm better than you at fantasy, because it doesn't matter what his talent level is.
Keep in mind, folks, you have the first place and last place debating fantasy football from
in this
last
year. But if you look at the franchise going in this next year, my franchise is in a pretty good position going
points per game, and that's what he puts up.
But he didn't this last year. He didn't the year before that.
What? He did last year. He was a
injured.
top
How many
10
games?
running back.
How many games was he injured?
Who cares?
So
he's top 10 points wise. He's out 3 or 4 games. That's why you draft a whole team. That's why you have 20 guys on your roster.
I don't disagree, but I think that he's not a top 10 fantasy running back.
Okay.
But we can argue. Texans.
Was Swift the one that I traded right before he got hurt?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
The day before he got hurt which was Thanksgiving Day, you traded him to Billy.
Yes. Good
Okay,
job.
Texans, gotten better or gotten worse?
Worse. I don't know. I don't know who they've got.
I think they've
that's
stayed
better.
the same.
Because
they lost Watson, but they didn't play Watson last
They
year.
didn't really have Watson last year.
So I think they've gotten, at worst, they've stayed the same.
they don't have anybody.
I'd say at best they've stayed the same.
At worst, they've stayed the same.
I just don't. Well, I mean,
The
I
next
guess
question
the
is,
Texans are
who
not
Who
any
wants to
good
go play for
anyways.
the Texans? If you were a free agent, would you go play for the Texans?
It's
Depends
hard
on
to
how
rate.
much money was involved.
It's going to
Because
cost extra money to get him there, isn't it?
again, what does Texas not have?
No state income tax. That's right by the nasty beach, but it's still the beach.
Don't disagree. Okay, the Jets, gotten better, gotten worse?
I say they're better.
I say they're better as well.
They're still, I think, a year away. They get DK. They got a whole lot better. I mean, anybody, DK, AJ Brown, any stud, young stud, they get him and pair them with Corey Davis. Corey Davis goes back to being a 2, where he shines when the focus is not on him. Oh my gosh. I think they could be great.
I think they're a year away still with DK from being great. And at that point in time, the only thing that's holding them back is the league that the conference they're in has the Bills, the Patriots, and the Dolphins, which are becoming all three of them very
Mainly the
good
Bills.
teams. Mainly the Bills, but the other two are still up and coming.
Yeah.
Depends upon how Tua does as a quarterback this year, and depends upon what weapons they're put around Mac Brown for the Patriots.
Yeah, I may have to go back to our thing where we ranked Jets wins over under and with the Tyreek stuff.
Well,
They have to reduce
everything's
those.
changeable up until the day the season starts.
Yeah.
Because the day before the podcast before the season starts, we're going to go through and talk about our fantasy stuff. We're also going to talk about projected wins and what we think over and under at that point in time.
Great.
Because everything changes.
Okay,
Giants.
Giants. They're worse.
I can't see how they've gotten better. I can't.
I mean, you're
can't
looking
name,
at a dumpster fire to a trash can fire, really. So.
I can't
Actually,
see
I gotta
one
take that
position where
back.
they've gotten better at.
I got to take that back.
They've gotten worse.
They've gotten better
How?
because the offense will be better under Dayball than it was under whoever, whatever
don't-
crappy person
But they
was
still have
running
Danny
it for
Dimes
Joe
as the
Judge.
quarterback.
But it'll be better.
And the Morrows as the owner.
And the whole thing, the whole thing with the Giants is how healthy is Saquon?
I'm not even sure that matters.
Okay. Panthers gotten better, gotten worse, or stayed the same?
Well, I'm going to caveat it with I'm assuming that Christian McCaffrey's going to be healthy.
Yeah, for 4 games.
If
So
you're
I'm
lucky.
going to assume they're better.
Okay. The cool thing is, had they improved themselves over the season? McCaffrey was there last year. Don't assume anything. Have they gotten better?
No.
Okay. I don't disagree. I can't see where they've made one positive step going forward at this point
If
in time.
he can stay healthy for 6 games and they can win those 6 games, then yes. Otherwise, they're just another.
We've already covered the Giants. They're not better. Falcons, have they gotten better or gotten worse?
Way worse.
Oh, God. Oh,
Okay,
This
moving
is a
on.
dumpster fire.
Seahawks, have they gotten better or they gotten worse?
same. I mean, right here, we are literally talking about the 2 worst teams in the league, in my opinion.
I don't disagree.
The Seahawks and
The Falcons.
the Falcons are telling the Lions and the Jaguars to hold my beer.
Absolutely, they are.
There's no doubt in my mind. You guys ridiculed me for saying Seattle was one of the worst teams in the league last week. Now you guys are both on board with me, one of the worst teams in the league
No,
this week.
no. Not last week. Last month, when they still had Russell Wilson, you were like, they're the worst team in the division. Blah blah.
And they
blah,
were.
Blah, blah. No, not
Yes.
with Russell Wilson.
They were
are
with
now.
Russell Wilson.
Okay.
And now they're definitely the worst team in the division. In the
For
conference,
sure.
they're the worst team in the conference. The only
No.
one that can hold their beer is Atlanta.
Yeah, Atlanta's way worse than Seattle.
We've already covered the Jets, the Commodes. They've gotten better, they've gotten worse.
Oh, we got much better.
You got Wentz.
Yeah, Wentz is way better.
You know,
Way better than Heineke.
27-7. If he would have won one of the last 2 games of the season last year, he would still be a Colt this year.
Yes, he would.
Yeah, if a frog had wings, it wouldn't bump his ass either. So
Right.
Okay. The Vikings gotten better, gotten worse, or stay the same?
I'm going to say they got better because I think that their coaching style better suits their talent.
I agree with you. I think that they've got a coach there now who understands how to use the explosive players they got in Cook and Jefferson.
I don't think they can be as high scoring as the Rams are,
They can come close.
but I think they could come
They
close.
can come close. Okay. The Ravens gotten better, gotten worse, stayed the same.
Worse.
I agree. Their offensive, from a fantasy viewpoint, they've definitely gotten worse. Lamar Jackson still not signed, still not even negotiating, still not even returning phone calls. And the owner says that Lamar is so focused on winning a Super Bowl that he doesn't want to talk about money now. He's going to bet this season on himself. And the last time a Baltimore quarterback bet on himself, what happened?
They won the Super Bowl.
And Falco,
And they had to pay Flacco $1 billion.
and Falco got paid.
Yeah, Shane Falco.
Yeah.
Eagles.
Gotten better.
I think they're better.
I definitely think they're better. Now, I want to see how they use the 2 draft picks they have left in order to help get Hurts some help with that.
Do not be surprised if they trade out of these picks.
I would not be surprised if they trade out of these picks for more for like a 25th, 26th pick in the first round.
Oh.
And a second or third to go along with it. That
Or
way
20
yeah.
next year, 24.
Yeah.
I mean, yes, I
I
think
would not
they're
be
going to
surprised at all
keep
because
trading out.
Because I think the players they're targeting, they can get later in the draft.
Mm-hmm.
So why not pick up more draft capital and give them more ammunition this year and next year to be able to get other players they want?
If the Chiefs or the Packers, if the guy they want there is at 15,
They'll trade up and get him.
And they could get those 2
for that one.
firsts?
Yeah.
it's done deal.
And what's the one player I've been saying Philadelphia needs to draft this year, but everybody else?
I don't remember.
Brees Hall.
Oh, yeah. Well,
Put him in the RPO with Hurts. You imagine how
if-
devastating that would be?
if the Chiefs give the Eagles 29 and 30 for this 15 pick to get whichever wide receiver that they want, they will draft Brees Hall.
Can
at
you imagine the
29 or
RPO they're
30.
going to have at that point in time with him
Oh,
and Hurts?
it's going to be dumb.
It's going to be insane. And by the way,
Dumb.
they will win the NFC East if that happens, just as I predicted last week, 2 weeks ago. Okay, the Saints
Suck on
gotten
that.
better,
I can't
gotten better,
wait.
gotten worse.
That steak is.
Saints are way better.
Saints are way better. I don't disagree at all. But there's a caveat. If Kamara is in the lineup,
No, doesn't matter.
doesn't matter?
No, because somebody will run the ball.
Yeah.
I mean, Mark Ingram can run the ball. I mean,
But he
he's
can't
not
catch
as
the ball.
dynamic.
He can't catch the ball in the backfield, though.
Yes, he can.
Not as well as Kamara can.
Well, no, not as well as Kamara, but he's Mark Ingram can run with the Saints offense. I had him 4 or 5 years ago when he was there with Breeze, and he was a monster.
That was 4 or 5 years ago, and Brees was in the equation.
I'm just saying.
Okay, you say better, I say worse, but we'll see. Okay, Chargers, way better,
Oh, way better.
way better. Herbert's going to take another step. Williams is back. Everybody's back. They've added to it. They're going to get the ball more often because the defense is going to be better.
There's a lot of talk that they will trade up into the top 10 to get one of the top 2 tackles.
That would be brilliant for them to do. That would give
And
them good
they'll have the
tackles.
guy that they drafted last year, Slater, and then they'll have the great new rookie to play right.
Bookend tackles would be incredibly good for them.
Yeah.
Okay, we were talking about the Eagles, the Saints. We were talking about the Steelers. Gotten better, gotten worse.
You got to say worse.
Okay, from a fantasy viewpoint, I can't see how they could get worse than last year with Ben triggering everything. Trubisky's going to be at least what Ben was last
But
year.
I told you last year, I mean, in a PPR, Deontay Johnson was a monster last year. Najee was a monster. I mean,
agree.
he's
Najee
another
was a
guy,
huge
what,
monster last year.
10th or 11th
Yeah,
for the season? I mean, as a rookie?
I think they've done. I think they've stayed the same. Maybe gotten a little bit better because Trubisky can actually throw the ball down the field, whereas Ben couldn't.
Yeah, maybe. And then there's still a ton of talk about the Packers should go get Chase Claypool.
Yeah, and they should.
Now, if that would make a lot of sense for Green Bay, but we'll see.
Okay, Patriots gotten better, gotten worse.
I gotta say, stay the same.
I got to say the same. Packers gotten better, gotten worse.
Worse,
I
not
don't
close.
Disagree. Definitely down. Okay, Cowboys.
Cardinals, you mean?
Yep. No, Cardinals. I'm sorry.
Same.
I think they've gotten worse because they're not going to be defense. They're not going to be able to pressure the quarterback and get the ball back when they need it.
But this is fantasy wise.
Yeah,
this
but
is
fantasy-wise,
This
but
is
the less
kind
you
of
have
offense.
The less you have the ball, the less points you can score. Therefore, I think the opposing offense is going to be on the field longer, which is going to limit the chances for the offense.
Yeah, I think if you make them go to a catch up, they're better because then you can't predict what Kyler Murray's going to do.
Okay.
They brought Connor back. They should have a healthy DeAndre Hopkins. Christian Kirk's a 0. Rondale Moore's the
gone,
same
yeah.
guy. Chase Edmonds is 0.
Cowboys, better or worse?
Worse.
I think they've gotten worse as well. Bills, better or worse?
I don't think they did anything different at running back, so I'm going to say same.
Okay. We'll cover the rest of these when we get back for segment 4 because we're going to take our last break of the day.
Keep the pest at bay, call TNT and we'll blow them away. For a pest-free home or business, you need the best. You need TNT, prompt and professional pest control with custom plans tailored just for you. Call TNT Pest Control at 209-9225. Being
a crack has been the most overwhelming and terrifying experiences that you can have. You must then deal with the physical and emotional trauma caused by the accident. Spinal ligament injury is the #1 leading cause of pain and disability following a car accident. If you or a loved one have had a car accident, there's a high likelihood that you've suffered spinal ligaments injury. Here at Titan Medical Center, we specialize in detection, diagnosis, and treatment of car accidents. Call us today.
And keep the pest at bay. Call TNT and we'll blow them away. For a pest-free home or business, you need the best. You need TNT, prompt and professional pest control with custom plans tailored just for you. Call TNT Pest Control at 209-9225.
Okay. Coming back from break, we're going to finish going through the list of whether they've gotten better or gotten worse fantasy-wise. Tennessee Titans, have they gotten better or gotten worse, Tom?
Bless you. I'm going to say worse.
I'm going to say better because Bob Trees has got to be better than Julio Jones.
Oh, I
was
forgot
last
that
year.
Bob Trees got there. Okay, I'm going to say same.
Okay. And Derrick Henry's healthy this year. Hopefully he'll stay healthy all year long. Therefore, I think Tennessee's gotten better. Tennessee's offensive line is they've upgraded it. So hopefully Tannehill will have a longer time with which to be able to do what to do. So I'm going to say better. Buccaneers, better or worse, or the same?
I'm going to say same, even though Gronk is not resigned yet. And I think his 50-50 on playing this year is just a motive for more cash.
More than likely. I'm going to say they've gotten better. The reason why I think addition by subtraction with some of the players they lost, like Robert Jones.
Ronald Jones?
Ronald Jones, yes. Ronald Jones going to Tennessee.
Kansas City.
Sorry, Kansas City is better.
You are truly awful with names.
Because that gives Fournette more chances with which to touch the ball. I think Fournette's a better back. Okay, Packers we talked about. Chiefs, have they gotten better, gotten worse?
I would say they are. I would say they are worse.
I don't think there's any doubt they've gotten worse. How do you lose Tyreek Hill and get better fantasy-wise?
Yeah, I don't. That's why I'm saying worse. I don't say. I mean,
But it took you a while to get it out. That was the other issue.
The balance is better, but
Could be.
because it's not definitive who you have to guard.
Yeah. Well, they had before it was always the Kelsey Hill show, and now it's the Kelsey question marks.
And I'm not sure that the biggest improvement for the Chiefs isn't Ronald Jones.
I'm not sure it's not either because he's definitely improved over Edwards-Helaire.
Or Edwards-Helaire, whoever.
The chocolate Declare.
Sure.
Okay, Bengals gotten better, gotten worse.
I'm going to say worse
Why?
because I feel like they've downgraded at tight end.
Okay, I'm going to say better because they've upgraded the offensive line, which will give the skill positions and Joe Burrow more time to make throws.
Yeah, they've got to have that seam guy, and I know that Tyler Boyd is good, but they need that tight end that's going to fake blocking and then come off and be wide ass open going down the middle. If for some weird reason Gronk goes to Cincinnati,
It'll be ugly.
look out.
Okay, the Broncos gotten better, gotten worse.
Oh yeah, Broncos got it way better.
I say they've stayed the same. The only thing they've gotten better at is Javonte Williams is in year 2. And he'll have a more expanded role because Melvin Gordon's not going to have that big of a role.
Maybe he will.
Yep. I don't think the quarterback is that big of an upgrade. Of course, I've been all over Russell Wilson for the last year on that, haven't I?
You have.
Smoke weed every day.
No doubt. I mean, come on. Over Drew Lock or Teddy Two Gloves? Okay.
I think it was an
All right.
upgrade, but not that much of an upgrade.
All right.
You know how you do drug testing for companies,
Yeah.
as a profession? We'll say that word loosely. I think we need to start using those drug tests before you go on the show.
I'll be more
Absolutely.
than
Or
glad
at
to-
least after.
I'll be more than glad to pee in the bottle for you. Not a
I mean, I
problem
don't care either.
Gross.
I don't care either way whether you pass or not. I just want to know.
Okay, have the Browns gotten better or worse?
Way better.
I don't disagree.
Well,
They've
that
definitely
depends.
upgraded-
That
yeah.
depends.
Well,
I
How
don't
many
care who
games
the
he
wide
sits out.
receivers are because Deshaun didn't throw to anybody worth a crap really in Houston either.
hold on. Weren't you saying Brandon Cooks was good? Just a little while ago?
Well, yeah, but he wasn't there with Deshaun.
Yeah, he was. 2 years ago he was there.
Not for the full season, only for part of the
because
season.
he got hurt.
Well, yeah. Either way, I don't
So
care.
which one is it? Is Brandon Cooks worth trading for?
Well,
or
I
is he
guess
not
that's
worth
true
trading
because
for?
Deshaun did throw to DeAndre Hopkins when he was good.
So
Either way, Deshaun is a huge upgrade over Baker Mayfield.
I don't disagree with
care
you at
who
all.
the other wide receivers are in Cleveland. They are fine with Deshaun.
oh, they got
Watson.
Amari Cooper too. So that was definitely
Oh,
nothing
they got
but a tit
Amari
for tat
Cooper.
with him in Jarvis
I
Landry.
keep forgetting about that.
Okay, the Bears gotten better, gotten worse.
Worse.
I don't disagree. I can't think of one position they've upgraded at all in this offseason. Okay, Colts got better, gotten worse.
Oh, way better.
Definitely, Matty Ice over Wentz was a definite improvement.
Although
they've got to get another wide receiver there to pair with Pittman, so Pittman goes back
Yeah,
to being the number 2.
I'm
I
sure
thought
that.
you guys were all high and mighty on 2 sprains.
Well, I am
I liked him.
for the commodes,
Okay.
but
So you're good with two sprains going to 2 books, but you don't like him at the Cardinal or the
No, I think.
well,
that-
we saw what he did with the Colts.
yes.
Okay, and
or what he didn't do.
Right. And I think that Matt Ryan can come in there like Phillip Rivers did and command that team and push them forward.
Don't get
Whereas
me wrong.
I don't.
I'm happy for you. I'm extremely happy to welcome Carson Wentz back in the NFC least.
Yeah, I think that Matt Ryan is an upgrade over Carson Wentz at this point in time in their career,
Absolutely. 100%.
and therefore, because of that, the Colts have finally got the final piece of the puzzle they need, which is a quarterback who has the talent and has the skill level to be able, and the leadership qualities that Wentz doesn't have, to be able to lead the Colts to a AFC South championship.
And I firmly believe Julio's going to end up signing here.
We'll see. He's still available, as
He
is
is.
Landry. Okay, the 49ers gotten better, gotten worse.
I'm going to say worse.
I'm going to say the same.
I think it depends on what they do with Jimmy G.
I think Jimmy G is not going to play for the 49ers this year.
The Rams gotten better, gotten worse.
Better, improved.
I don't think Allen Robinson as your number 2 wide receiver, maybe your number 3 behind Beckham.
Yeah, but Beckham's not going to play
Right, not
until the
part of
last
the
2 or
season.
3 games.
Yeah.
at
I think
best.
they've definitely gotten better. Raiders, no doubt, gotten better. No doubt, gotten better. They have a legitimate number 1 wide receiver with a best friend at quarterback. That is, let's put it this way: if you can get those 2 together in your draft,
Trying.
probably gonna have a pretty good season.
Oh, yeah, you're going to eat not pancakes at IHOP for 24 hours either.
Dolphins
Speaking
gotten
of
better,
which.
gotten worse.
Yeah.
Oh, they're improved.
I don't disagree. Definitely gotten better. If Tua can throw the ball, the whole key comes down to how well Tua can throw it.
Yeah, I mean, really, I'm not even sure that is the key. I think the key is how quickly can people react to the different offense that Miami's going to run. Because they won't have a power run game.
No, they're gonna have a West Coast offense.
It'll be all speed and slants and
Maybe
all
he
that
can,
stuff.
Maybe he can punt the ball down the field.
He might be able to. You never know. Okay, so now we're gonna move on to what do you call it?
The news of the weird.
Okay, so starting with news of the weird. Commodes.
We'll start with
Hold
the
on.
commodes.
Why are the Commodes and the Cowboys always in the news of the weird at this point in time?
Because
Well, the
we
Cowboys are always in the news because rule number 1 about doing anything for ratings is you have to talk bad about the Cowboys and you have to mention Lebron. That's rule number 2. Stephen A. Smith has made millions on this model.
Okay, so the Commodes, they're withholding money from the NFL and the visitors' cut of the tickets.
Well,
allegedly.
Allegedly. So Jason Friedman, who's a 24-year team employee, blew the whistle on the Dan, who came out and totally discredited him. Now he's filed suit against the Dan
Because he was
for defamation.
yeah.
Just like the league did with Brian Flores. Oh, he has no merit. His accusations have no merit. They're incorrect. But he came out and said that teams are required to pay 40% to the league to be paid to the visiting teams in a large pool. for all the ticket proceeds. Now, the teams can withhold 15%, up to 15% as administrative costs of whatever.
So they're really paying 25% into the pool.
Well, no, it's 15% of 40, so that's 6%. So they only really have to pay in 34% of the gate.
And
gate proceeds.
as Dan Schneider said, there are people who monitor this. You realize that they have accounting firms who look at this. So how can we not be paying something during that time not got caught from the very beginning?
Because we had two separate sets of books.
I'm glad you brought that up. Yes. So now they also said that there are two sets of books, the cooked books and the league books. You know,
So how quickly are they going to strip this man of his franchise?
well, obviously not quickly enough, because the other thing that happened, I don't remember if we talked about, oh, no, we didn't talk about it last week. That's why it's on here. So last Tuesday, Goodell comes out and says that the Dan is not in the day-to-day functions of the commodes. He's not involved. He is technically still suspended, blah, 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 blah. The next day, Wednesday, like hours before we record, the Washington Times comes out and says, oh, no. He's doing the day-to-day activities. We've got people who say he's in the office, he's doing this, and he's on 4 NFL committees. So I'm not really sure how, if you're not in the day-to-day, how are you on 4 committees? In addition to, you go back to the day that we unveil the commode's name and the new unis. Who's the first MFer on the stage?
Daniel.
The shortest MFer on the stage also,
Daniel.
by the way.
Yeah.
Followed by his wife, who's supposed to be running the organization.
Yeah. So the whole point of this time is, once again, we have an owner who can pretty much do whatever he wants and nobody's going to do anything about it. When's it going to stop?
Well, where there is smoke, there is raw sewage. And the raw sewage is not only our piece of crap stadium, but it's also the Dan. And I think that if there's any way that they prove any malfeasance in this will be when the other owners are like 29-3, get him the F out of here. If Jerry Richardson's going to get kicked out because of all the NDAs that he has and the improprieties, the Dan has far exceeded that.
I don't disagree. Okay, the Cowboys raised ticket prices. How dare they? Why'd they raise ticket prices, Seth?
Probably because everything's costing more right now, and Jerry ain't going to take a cut off of it.
He's not paying for his love, child.
Well,
That was a
now,
couple $1 million. He pisses that.
So here's the deal with this. So during one of the Super Bowl years, Jerry knocks up a flight attendant.
Allegedly.
No.
Factually,
He knocked her up.
He knocked her up. He's been paying for it. So he's been sending, according to the Cowboys, millions of dollars over the past 25 years.
Roughly 4.5 from the article I read.
Okay. So
I wish you'd send me 4.5.
what are the profits the Cowboys have made in the last 25 years?
Billions and billions.
I'm going to say, based on the Cowboys, their minimum operating profit is $100 million per year.
I would say that's probably very
That's
reasonable.
$2.5 billion over the past 25 years. If I'm this chick, $2 million, $10 million, $25 million in close to what I'm owed because I'm a Jones. Pay me.
Well, I mean, let's be honest. They're raising ticket prices like $20 a seat.
Per game. It's like $180 a year.
What hasn't gone up,
Times
though?
500 times 50,000 minimum.
So
like
is
75,000.
the raise also for the SRO tickets? The people who literally stand the entire game?
More than likely, yes.
I don't know. It's saying end zone seats were going from 140 to 170. Club seats were 410 to 430.
Okay.
Lower level seats, I don't see anything about the SRO tickets. Probably.
So let's say there's an average 100,000 people, and
There.
at $20 a ticket, that's $2 million extra per game.
That's $16 million.
Okay.
$18
So is
million.
that worse, or is it worse for Tampa to go out and tell all of their season ticket holders they have to buy a minimum of 2 years?
if I'm in the league ownership, if I was the Tampa Bay Bucks, I'd make him buy 5 years because when Tommy
You're
B's
damn
gone,
right.
that franchise is going to go.
Oh my God, it's going to go right down the crapper.
You know, the other thing too is
It's
that
gonna be the next home of raw
everything on their
sewage.
operating expenses is gone up.
Yeah, everything's gone up.
All their cups have gone up. They're already making $1 bajillion anyway, but
Okay.
they want to keep those margins.
Yep. In the final news of the word, Brett Favre is back in the news for bad items.
Oh my God. Okay, so he's investing in Prevacus, a treatment for concussions. He strong-armed Mississippi Governor Phil Bryant into giving that organization $1.7 from federal funds. And then the governor, once he leaves office, gets stock from Prevacus 2 days after. Say what?
Wonder when Brett's going to have to refund this money, too.
Oh my God, unbelievable. All right, everybody, we might have 2 or 3 seconds worth of stuff in a post show, but thanks everybody for watching again this week. We'll see you.
See you next week.
That was my fault. You guys got me all sidetracked on the Cowboys.
That's all right. Yeah, I mean, this stuff that's coming out. I mean, and we didn't even touch on the stuff that came out today, which 6 franchises in 6 different states, 30 accusers have come out saying that they were sexually discriminated against
I was too.
or
Make that-
racially
make that
discriminated
31.
against by 6 different franchises.
Yep. In other news, 6 AGs in 6 states came out and told the NFL, y'all better take better care of the women in your organizations. Otherwise, we're going to start investigating you.
You know what? They should investigate it. And if these are all
You're
false,
damn right they should.
if they're false allegations, which they're probably not, but they should turn around and sue them for the damages caused. I'm all about loser pays.
Here's
I doubt
part
they're
of
false.
what's going to happen, in my opinion.
Nobody cares.
Thank you.
What were you saying?
What is the only thing that guarantees 20 to 30 million people per week watch?
NFL football.
NFL football.
So, why would the government not look into every aspect of their business to make sure that they are operating above board?
But why should the government be doing what the NFL should be doing on its own?
Yeah, that's not a government thing.
Show me where in the Constitution it says the government can do that or should do that.
Well, it's all about rights of individuals and protecting the rights of people. I mean, for that matter, why do we have cops? Because people are going to take advantage of
For
them.
public safety is why cops are there.
For people who break the law. There's nothing breaking the law
So-
about a guy's. Well, never mind. That was bad.
Okay, so we'll go back to one of the Commode's complaints where a female office worker is working at her desk and one of the players comes up, whips his dick out, and says, "What are you going to do about this?"
Cut it off.
I mean, if
Okay,
I can't,
okay, you can't-
I can't imagine what would happen at any of the businesses I've worked at or been into if somebody did that there.
and so-
literally, in some cases, something would be cut off a person.
Okay, so did he commit a crime?
Absolutely.
Okay, then that becomes a public safety issue, and the cops should be involved, and he should be arrested for what he did wrong.
And that's the problem, is that you have people who aren't willing to blow the whistle because they don't feel safe in their environment. They don't want to lose their job. They're working for something that they love.
Well, then it's obviously not that bad.
Then apparently they're willing to make it. They're willing to to lower their morals or to keep their job.
Oh my God. And that's why the government needs to step in and say, this is wrong.
It became a public.
You are not
It became a
you are
public
not
safety issue. at that point in
handling
time.
your business.
No.
Well, if somebody's handling their business.
Let's say that a husband beats his wife. He gets arrested. He goes to jail. He bonds out. Court comes up 6 months later. She doesn't show up. What happens to the charges against him?
They get dropped.
Should the government investigate why the charges get dropped?
Yes, somebody should be saying,
But they're not going to.
What? Why? Why? What's the deal?
They're
Why
not
are you
going
not showing
to.
up here?
They're not going to because
Well, somebody will, but then it'll eventually get dropped. I mean, it's just like the same thing that you hear in court cases where they're like, well, we're charging this person with murder. They get found not guilty. Well, we're still going to go after it. So 2 years later, they're like, we're bringing it up on charges again.
Well, they can't. That's
Yeah,
double
that's double jeopardy.
Whatever.
But A for effort.
Yeah.
So
I
what's
mean,
the
but it's-
difference? What's the difference between a wife not showing to testify against her husband and this person not filing charges against this person?
Because it never really gets resolved.
No, it doesn't, and that's the problem with NFL. That's the problem with our stupid society that for some reason accepts that behavior from people.
Yes.
There are some franchises that if that happened and the guy whipped his dick out and said, "What are you gonna do about this?" they'd be cut on the spot.
Right.
Some franchises, like unfortunately the one you cheer for,
Yes.
that's accepted behavior.
It has been accepted because
Okay.
it comes from the top.
So who should be the one to investigate? The government, or should the NFL take care of that?
But the NFL's not going to take care of it because the NFL is a conglomerate of old, rich, white people, and that's
So
why they
why
don't
should the
want,
government get involved?
because they won't do
Because
what's
that
right.
girl could take and sue in civil court or file the criminal complaint, and she chooses not to.
But it's just like the whole whistleblower argument. Where there is smoke, there is fire.
Oh, there's no doubt in my mind that the
Every
NFL is.
one of these franchises has something like this.
Yeah. If we look at the way our society has evolved dramatically over the last 5 years, 20 years ago, the accepted behavior was accepted at that point in time, would not even come close to being accepted at this point in time.
For sure.
Correct.
But it's the
so-
whole argument of sweatshops. I mean, if that's the case, let's bring sweatshops back.
And so,
The government doesn't need to
they've
worry
never,
about
they've
people.
never really left in China where
Yeah.
like LeBron gets
and so the problem here is as things evolve, maybe one or two organizations might not evolve as fast as the rest of them do. Strip the ownership of it. I mean, let's be real here. Right now, there are two teams that need to have their ownership stripped at this point in time: the Dolphins and the Commodes.
Yes.
Strip them, make them put it up for sale, move on, get it over with.
I agree.
Okay, NFL's.
But the NFL, look how
But why is it the government role to do that?
It's moving.
Why is it the government's role to do that?
Because the NFL isn't. The NFL is known for over a year about the Commodes. What have they done about it? They suspended the Dan.
Yeah, they
And he's not
suspended the
He's
Dan.
not suspended.
Yep.
Have you suspended his profit?
So the question here is, what we need to be looking at is not the government looking at it, but us as fans need to be going to the NFL and going, what
This
the
isn't
hell?
acceptable.
This isn't acceptable. Move on. Get this taken care
Well,
of.
the people in the organizations need to say, we're not going to work for this shit show. But like you alluded to earlier, they like their jobs too much. They're privileged to work in the NFL, so they're willing to compromise their morals to do such.
Or their values to do such.
Or they're just stuck.
Possibly.
I mean, here's another thing. I quit a job I was in for 24 years last year
Yep.
because I was done. I'd had enough.
Yep.
Did you whip your dick out on the table?
I did not.
Did you commit any crimes while you were there?
He's not going to answer that question.
Define crimes.
I don't want to know. Let's move on past this one. Okay. And so there's nothing that they should have punished you
Improprieties?
civilly.
Oh, for sure.
There's nothing they should punish you civilly or criminally for there, correct?
As far as you know.
Okay, that's probably the appropriate answer. And so the problem here is the young lady who had the dick whipped out and put in front of her should have, number one, grabbed it, cut it off, and handed it back to him.
That might have been a little extreme because that's really close to murder.
No, ask Lorena Bob about that one. He survived. Her husband survived. And so if you look at it, sorry, he put it in my face. I defended myself. What was I supposed to do?
Well, I'm not sure she would be sitting at her desk and holding being able to get a hold of a sharp object or anything like that.
No, but you never know.
You don't know her.
Yeah, you don't know.
I don't know her life.
And so the whole thing is, everybody calls for the government to investigate this, the government to investigate that. We don't need the government to investigate. It's not what the government's designed to do.
No. We do need them in cases where things are not being self-policed. if the NFL
If
had
a crime has been committed, I agree with you.
had a
If it's-
sparkling reputation
If it's
of doing
a public
what's
safety
right,
issue, I agree.
And most of these, honestly, would fall under that category.
There's
When
only
you
2
have-
franchises that don't at this point in time, to our knowledge.
which would be
other than the
Commodores and the
Panthers,
Dolphins.
which they already
already got that one
the
taken
other
care of.
thing, other than the Cowboys, who have multiple NDAs out there and their cheater scandal. That's 4.
hey, you leave the,
The
Cowboys out of this.
Panthers have already been dealt with, haven't they?
Yeah, they
The
made
owner's no
Jerry
longer
Richardson.
there.
But okay, go
So-
back
Ownership's no longer there, so they dealt with that one.
Perfect example. The cheating. Let's assume that Dallas cheated for your hypothetical situation. Should Congress be able to ask questions and have them answer those questions to Congress?
Okay.
Or should they answer those questions to the NFL?
I can answer that question for you. The reason why the government can get involved is because the antitrust exemption that the NFL has got. Once you strip the antitrust exemption away from them, the government should not be involved in any
That's not a
whatsoever.
criminal activity, like slapping your dick out on the table.
But it's the way that they are treated as a conglomerate of individual businesses versus being an actual league.
But they are individual businesses.
Technically, they are, but then they would be subject to other.
And they're subject to every law that any business that you or I may own is.
All I'm saying is, if somebody won't check the NFL, if the NFL won't check itself, somebody else needs to.
But that's got to start from within.
I think the NFL needs to step up
They-
and do the right thing and get it taken
They
care
are,
of.
but that is just that is kind of like saying,
There's protections for whistleblowers.
Yeah.
There's actually
I know.
there's actually funding for whistleblowers to recover portions of those improprieties.
So
Absolutely.
And so, see, the problem is since, okay, I dislike Roger Goodell as a commissioner. I don't think he does anything other than okay, if I'm the owner of the NFL, if I'm an NFL owner, I love Roger Goodell. He's made me billions of dollars.
apparently the players like it too.
Why?
I don't know. I guess just
But-
hearing from McAfee and some of the other guys, they all
Roger
love
Goodell has done nothing to bring the NFL's standard of business with some franchises into the 2020s.
Well, I would say that depends on what is your standard of franchising. Is it I'm making money or I'm keeping up with society?
It would be both, because keeping up with society is changes from state to state and region to region.
You know what? I think that they do everything that they do is calculated to keep more people coming to games, buying merchandise,
Oh, there's no
blah
doubt.
blah 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 blah. Everything.
It's a business. That's what they do.
And everything that happens that's a negative is pushed to the back burner, denied, NDA'd. I mean, if there are thousands of NDAs related to the NFL.
I'm sure there are. There are thousands of NDAs related to employment through Brady Masco or other organizations.
There's
out there
no
that
way
big.
there's thousands related
An
to Brady
organization
Masco.
that's that big. There probably are.
No way. Tens, not
And see,
thousands.
And part of the problem we run into is I'm gonna pick on Jerry for a minute. Jerry's NDA with his love child, is that a Cowboy situation? Or is that a Jerry Jones
No, that's a
personal
Jerry
situation?
Jones personal situation. It means absolutely nothing to me as a fan of
Exactly.
the Cowboys.
It means absolutely nothing with the business entity of the Cowboys other than Jerry Jones is the owner.
And it doesn't even really change my
Other than the fact that he's the owner, and as a child, she should be entitled to part of the inheritance of the Cowboys.
That's a
Not
domestic
necessarily.
issue. That's a domestic
It's
issue.
a domestic issue at that point in time because she might not. Stephen Jones might not inherit the Cowboys when Jerry passes away. He might give somebody else.
I'm going to tell you right now, a jury of your peers will not see it that way.
Let's put it this way: if you pass away, who inherit? If you have 5 children, who inherits all your stuff when you pass away? You've got 2 daughters.
Well,
Who's
I've only got one child right now, and he's scheduled to get
and-
everything right
okay,
now.
Seth, if you pass away, what do your daughters inherit? Is it going to be equally split between them, or are you going to get one of them more?
Some debt
Okay.
and a
I mean,
cat.
Jerry Jones will determine who gets what. He can write the daughter completely out of the will if he wishes to.
Yeah.
She doesn't have to necessarily receive anything.
And she can fight it in probate court.
Right? and she'll take it to court. And
If, she's got,
a
if, he's got a
jury of
good
your
attorney, if he's got a good attorney, which I'm sure he does, that probate court's going to give absolutely nothing to her because his will was executed to his wishes.
Yeah, she's not entitled to it.
She's not entitled to a damn thing just because she's got his blood pumping through her veins.
Now, if she was smart, she'd say, Daddy, I'm here. I'm ready to run.
I don't think.
Marketing.
Again, maybe a court or a judge or a tribunal or a.
But that's not an NFL issue.
That's completely a personal issue from Jerry. Has nothing to do with the Cow. We like teasing Seth as much as possible about Jerry Jones,
but
in
does
reality,
not help
this has
the
nothing at all.
brand.
It doesn't help the brand.
It doesn't
but
hurt
also,
the brand either.
Well, to some people, it'll be like, yeah, look at that piece of shit Jerry Jones. Okay,
Because it's Jerry Jones, and we're going to read the next article upon who he trades or who he signs for, and that's going to override everything that he does next.
Yeah, in 3 months, we're not going to give two shits about whether or not.
When they kick the ball off in September, she goes completely to the back burner, and how well does the team do?
Okay.
She's probably getting that extra $20 a seat. Let's just be honest.
And so, yeah, I wish the NFL would move into the 2020s and get all this shit cleared up and start treating people the appropriate way. And by the way, the player that whipped his dick out, what are you laughing at?
Billy sent me something. He must be watching on YouTube. I told him that we'd have it on YouTube, and he says, "I wish Doc had Russell Wilson so I could send him a 5th-round pick for him."
I don't have Russell Wilson because I don't think he's worth a 5th-round pick.
I have Russell Wilson. I don't want a 5th-round pick.
I got 5 quarterbacks I think are better than Russell Wilson.
I know you think that.
We'll see. All 5 of mine are starters on franchises this year.
Yeah, good for you.
Good thing you can only play one at a time.
You're right, but, I got one of the top ones in Joe Burrow.
Yeah.
Yep.
And Billy just texts back.
No, this is.
Anything else for the good of the order?
Nothing else for the order.
I
We're done
think
for
we're
the night.
good. See you guys.
See you guys next week. We're out.